KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3's Daybreak, live from our Rochester studio.
Good morning to you. I'm Tyler Utzka.
And I'm Brooke McKivergan. Thank you so much for watching KIMT News 3's Daybreak.
It's Thursday, December 16th today. The time now is 6:30. Now behind us is a live look over a windy Rochester where cleanup efforts are underway and a lot of people are without power from last night's historic storm.
As the sun rises this morning, it'll uncover the damage the extreme winds left in their wake. That's why we have team coverage for you. KIMT News 3's Alex Dieter and KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp are in Heartland, Minnesota, surveying the damage there. KIMT News 3's Anthony Monzon is in Rudd, Iowa, doing the same.
Now, before we get to them, let's get right to KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday with an update on what's happening right now. Sean.
Hey guys, it's still pretty windy outside across the area, and I'm sure our reporters are going to corroborate that when we speak to them shortly. But take a look at some of the storm reports we've seen over the past 24 hours as this historic storm rolled across the area. We have over 100 reports. Some of them are damage, some of them are strong winds, some of these winds actually above hurricane force. Let's just take a look at some of what we've got. Clear Lake and in parts of North Iowa, we saw wind gusts above hurricane force right here, like in Clear Lake, 75 miles per hour. We had one at the Mason City Airport at 83 miles per hour. And we did have a lot of down power lines in parts of Cerro Gordo County near Mason City. In Rochester, this wasn't even the thunderstorm. This was after the thunderstorm by about 2 or 3 hours. 77 mile per hour hurricane force wind gust in Rochester at RST just after this. And also we're tracking extensive damage in a lot of places this morning, but particularly Rudd, Iowa in Floyd County, where we're going to talk to Anthony Monzon soon, but he has not seen anything good, unfortunately. Temperatures this morning for folks who are maybe going out to pick up the pieces. It's a cold morning. It's a different wintry world. And it's actually more normal for this time of year, but what's still not normal is those winds. Winds still gusting 44 miles per hour in Rochester, 31 miles per hour in Mason City, making things rather difficult for the morning hours. Now, it is going to get gradually better throughout the day. Through about 3 to 4 p.m., those winds still could be gusting 30, 40 miles per hour, but then after that, towards the evening hours, we are getting much better with our really outlook of the wind. So today you can expect some sunny skies and much more normal temps.
Sean, thank you. We are seeing several power outages throughout the area from these strong winds, and because they're still so powerful, it's unsafe right now for some crews to fix them. I just got a Facebook message from a viewer just a few minutes ago in Charles City saying their family has been without power since 7 o'clock last night. So let's check in with Tyler now, who shows us the latest on these power outages. Tyler.
Yeah, hey, Brooke, we're going to start off with Rochester Public Utilities. If you take a look at their outage map, look, it's everywhere. It impacts the entire city. The big yellow ones are east of North Broadway, impacting hundreds of customers currently right now. This one that I just clicked on, 154 alone. This one, 132. Another one by 2nd Street is impacting around 381 customers. If we take a look over here, this is North Iowa. Same ordeal, lots of people without power this morning. Rudd currently has 245 customers out, several also in Clear Lake near Ventura. So yeah, might take a while because those strong winds is impacting people's ability to get out there and help restore that power for you. Let's take a quick look at the road conditions. Pretty much all good for you. Just be aware of what those winds could bring out onto the road. They're still very strong this morning. You just don't know what could be in front of you. But other than that, they look clear for the most part, according to the Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Tyler. One of the hardest hit cities in North Iowa is Rudd. Tyler just mentioned how many people are still without power there this morning. We're seeing reports of damaged homes, buildings, and other structures. KIMT News 3's Anthony Monzon joins us live there from there this morning. Anthony, tell us what you're seeing.
Well, Brooke, it's still plenty dark here in Rudd ahead of the sun coming up, but this little sliver of light really says it all behind me. I'm going to turn my camera around and really walk you through this, give you an in-depth look. This is here, again, on Chickasaw Street, just outside of City Hall, right off of 4th Street. You can see all of this debris that came down, again, from this strip of buildings here. Even right here, you may not be able to see it, but there's a down power line that drivers have been needing to dodge, but I'll go ahead and walk into some of this area here. And you can see here's the remnants of a power line, of a power pole here, utilities pole, plenty of stuff on the ground. And just stepping over here, again, you can see this building was boarded up, but right over here, this building, you can see the window is again broken into there. There's just glass everywhere. A lot of debris like this throughout the city so far as we're seeing. So this really gives you an idea of exactly what kind of weather event rolled through, again, just a couple of hours ago, that now officials and community members are working to pick up the pieces. The good news is that, again, I have seen a couple of crews out here starting to assess some things, some sheriff's deputies as well that have been rolling around, but there are also some people, just regular folks, starting to poke their heads out and see kind of what's been left in the wake of the storm. We know that there are going to be some different kind of community events to try to get some support for people who might be in need, and of course we'll keep you appraised of those as soon as we have more information. But now we're live in Rudd. Anthony Mons on KIMT News 3.
Anthony, thank you so much. And speaking of that support that he was just mentioning, the Rudd Rockford Marble Rock Community School District will not be having school today. Instead, the district wants the community to help clean up. The school building will be open for showers, warmth, and food. That starts at 7 o'clock this morning. Everyone is welcome. And while everyone comes together, they're hoping that you can just help each other out to clean up that mess.
Now here's a reminder for you. Here's a video clip that Jen Peterson sent to us from Northwood. These winds were wicked. I don't have to tell you that if you experienced it. So at times these reached gusts of around 80 miles per hour. You can see the winds swooping rain throughout this parking lot, and this is clearly something that we will not be forgetting anytime soon.
This morning, we also have KIMT News 3's Alex Steederer live. She is in Heartland.
And that's where a bank got severely damaged, as did many other buildings in the town's downtown area. So let's get to her now. Alex, good morning.
Brooke, Tyler, good morning. Yeah, I'm in Heartland, Minnesota, and you can see right behind me that the Arcadian Bank just looks like it just got taken a bite out of. The bricks from the top just are in a heap on the ground, and they are also almost covering a stop sign that was just ripped out of the ground. And if you take a look over here on South Broadway and Johnson Street, there's a light pole that is almost all the way down onto the ground. And Ryan Knapp and I have been out here for about a couple hours, and it just keeps getting farther into the ground. And over here, right across here, we see what looks like a Christmas tree that was just ripped out of the ground onto the floor. And the building right behind, it just looks like it was just stomped all over. And the Heartland Fire and Rescue Team did say that there is no power right now in Heartland. And so if you have a generator, that is what people are running on. But it's not as warm as it was yesterday here in Heartland. The winds and the wind chill it's freezing out here. So if you can find a warm place to stay for you and your family, because the wind, as you can hear, it's not going anywhere. The devastation here is just horrible, and the sheriff's office did say that they're not sure how long it's going to take for this cleanup. Over to my left, at Heartland Electric, you can see just like a tin that from the roof that came down, and there is no light here except for the safety lights that are on the main street. It is cold and dark out here, so just be careful and stay inside in the warmth if you can. Live in Steederer, KIMT News 3.
All right, thank you very much, Alex. And here is also a reminder for you that if you do have any pictures or video that you'd like to send to us, you can do so. Just go to KIMT.com, click Submit Weather Photos.
And the weather is impacting some people's air travel this morning, too. Here's a look at departures out of the Rochester International Airport. American Airlines and Delta canceled the 5:41 and 5:45 a.m. departures to Chicago O'Hare and the Minneapolis Airport, likely because these winds are still so very strong this morning waking up.
The Rochester Fire Department had a busy night. So between 6 last night and 2 this morning, we're told the department responded to 35 calls for service, including multiple small fires, gas leaks, downed power lines, and other hazards caused by falling trees. At about 12:30 this morning, a burning transformer on a power pole spread to a nearby detached garage. Crews were able to extinguish that fire and no injuries were reported. We're also told one Rochester man was trapped in his home when a large tree fell and blocked his front door. Firefighters were able to use some chainsaws to cut away and help him out of that home. No injuries were reported with that incident either.
The strong winds not only damaged buildings across the area, but it made traffic treacherous. Take a look at this semi that overturned while it was heading eastbound on Highway 14 between Byron and Casson. The road was blocked off for quite some time as a tow truck worked to get it upright. No word on any injuries there. Still ahead, we are continuing our coverage of the wreckage as we take you to Rudd, Iowa, where class is canceled for Rudd Rockford Marble Rock students. We'll tell you what the district is asking kids to do today instead.
And we're going to head back out to Hartland, Minnesota again, this time with KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp. He's there to kind of walk us again through all the damage left in that town.
And here's a live look right now over Rochester. It's still windy this morning. I'm still tracking winds that you need to take some caution with through these morning hours. I am happy to report, though, that things are much calmer and much more normal through the week ahead.
KIMT News 3 Daybreak. Your local news with KIMT News 3's Tyler Yutzka and Brooke McKibbergan. Weather every 10 minutes with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday. This is KIMT News 3. More local news that is happening right now. We are coverage you can count on.
Help me. Oh, Ryan, mic check. Gotta get the lav. I'm getting the lav, Nate. I mean, not the lav, the stick. She's a runner, she's a track star.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let me turn on. Right. Sweet.
Let's go right here so it looks a little different.
Okay.
Okay, that works. What's the question so I know? What's the question so I know?
Hey, Ryan. I'm going to just ask you, I'm going to say, hey, you were tracking these storms all day yesterday. That area was under a tornado warning for some time. Does this look to you like a tornado went through there?
Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Good morning. It is 6:43 now on this Thursday. 25 degrees out there, feeling awfully cold compared to what we felt yesterday.
Thankfully, the winds have calmed down, especially compared to what we saw late last night, but they're still pretty strong, Sean.
Yeah, they're still strong out there because this storm broke so many records. It was the warmest December day ever for Rochester, Minnesota, and for the state of Iowa. And it also set the record for the most hurricane-force gust in a single day. It was like 55, I think, that I last checked. You could just see this storm yesterday as it rolled through the upper Midwest. And we just had so many different reports of damage, wind damage. That's all these kind of blue icons you can see right here. And also all these, the darker blue ones, those are the strong wind reports. And there were other reports of tornadoes here and there as well. And the National Weather Service will be hard at work at assessing where those tornadoes actually made landfall. But here's a look. I got a bunch of new reports in for you. A lot of these wind gusts were above hurricane force. Everything in this column that you see on the left, these are hurricane force wind gusts. Rochester, 77 miles per hour, came not even in a thunderstorm. That was after the thunderstorm by several hours. Elsewhere, we saw wind gusts in several places above 80 miles per hour. And you look at these wind gusts, and then you look at the damage we're seeing this morning, and it starts to make sense. Because a normal windy day, you might see gusts like 40 or 50 miles per hour, a little bit more what we're seeing this morning. And we're going to continue to see that through the rest of really the morning hours, because this storm is continuing to move to the northeast, and in its backside you have winds racing out of the northwest, and they're squeezing as they do so. That's squeezing out a couple of snowflakes towards Mankato. I don't think that's going to be any impact for us here, so that's some good news. Today is really just those winds that we're tracking during the morning hours, and also the chilly temps. Temps right now in the mid-20s, but it feels like 7 degrees in Rochester and 11 degrees in Charles City and Mason City. Crews and folks that are trying to restore power or pick up the pieces are going to be dealing with these winds and these cold temps for most of the day, but the stronger winds, which will probably keep that power from getting back on, those will be here through the morning hours. So it may be some time before you get your power back. It may be a little bit more towards the evening hours when those crews can really get there without the winds. Here's what I mean. Those wind gusts are still gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour through about 4 p.m. and then they really start to calm down with those gusts below 20 miles per hour this evening. What that's going to do to our wind chills, though, you look at this. This is through 4 p.m. Those 30 mile per hour, 40 mile per hour wind gusts are going to keep those wind chills down into the teens. At times the single digits, pretty much all day long. So it's still a windy morning. You still need to take some precautions when you're going out and you're going places. There's a lot of branches down. I saw some on my way to work here and there this morning. It does look like we'll get some sunshine towards later on this afternoon and this evening. Now we take a look at the next 3 days. Guys, this is so normal. It's fantastic news. You could see some snowflakes early Saturday morning, but there's no damaging weather in our future. And I just want to share this, guys. This was at my car. It was under my car this morning. This is a light. It looks like it was like a case for a light, and it was stuck into my car. It rolled down the street all the way. I don't know where it came from. If you're missing this, I have it. Yeah. But there's things like this all over the area.
Might be the city of Rochester, so we better return that one. All right, thank you, Sean.
Let's go now to KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp. He is in Heartland for us this morning. Ryan, what are you seeing there?
Well, I'll tell you what we're looking at here is just a lot of debris over the course of the entire town and really just the entire city in general. And what I would say, just based on looking, is if not, this is minor tornado damage across Heartland this morning. But one thing we also got to point out here is that we also saw quite a bit of straight line winds as well during the day yesterday. So this could be a mix of even both. And that's why crews are having such a hard time picking up after this morning, is the fact that we are still seeing debris tossed around the street here simply because these winds are so strong here in downtown Heartland. And really just the damage that we're seeing is something that you would see maybe in a movie, something close to even the movie Twister, some would say. And just the way that the poles are bending halfway over, pieces of buildings being pretty much taken out. And we've been talking about this bank all morning here, and one thing that I keep mentioning is the fact that it takes strong wind gusts and even just strong winds in general to take apart a brick building. I mean, wood is one thing, but brick is another, and this is something that we're definitely seeing as pieces of brick are lined across the street. That not only do we have our crew here with us, but also our cameras as well. So this is something we're dealing with all through the rest of this morning, especially people who live in the town of Heartland, because the cleanup is just starting here in Heartland this morning. And especially as the sun starts to rise, we'll get a better idea of what it is we are looking at when it comes to damage. Because let's face it, most of the storms we saw last night, the sun was already down, so we have not been able to get a full scope of what we're actually looking at. It's only because of lights like we have in the background that are being run off of generators that are allowing us to see just the earliest of damages here in downtown Heartland. Once the sun starts to rise, who knows what we'll see. Live in downtown Heartland, Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp.
Ryan, thank you. I don't know if you can still hear me, but you were tracking these storms all day on Wednesday. The Heartland area was under a tornado warning for some time. So being there now this morning, does it look to you like a tornado did go through that area?
I would absolutely say that, because just looking at the extent of the damage, and while I did say we did see strong straight line winds yesterday, some of the damage that we are seeing stretched across the entire town would definitely classify as the potential for tornado damage. We'll find out more later on once the National Weather Service, of course, does their report here and starts an investigation on this damage. Hopefully they'll have that out here sometime in the near future. But for right now, based on what we're seeing in downtown, I would very likely that we did see a tornado make its way through downtown Heartland last night.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan, and we'll have more on this still ahead in our continuing team coverage.
And the Heartland, Minnesota Fire Department actually did post this on Facebook, saying that if anyone needs help or a warm place to be, the fire hall and community center have power and heat. So if you need to, head there. Well, the town of Rudd in North Iowa was one of many places that had heavy damage from the storm as well. Law enforcement has the town blocked off, and we're learning the city's library has extensive damage. KIMT News 3's Anthony Monzon is there. What he's showing us is unbelievable. So a reminder that the Rudd Rockford Marble Rock School District has canceled classes for today. The school building will be open to use for showering and meals. That'll open in 10 minutes. So students and staff, they're being asked to help clean up town. KIMT News 3's Anthony Monzon is there for us right now. He'll be giving us more information throughout the day. And so ahead right here, we're taking you to an Iowa city where a farmer says he saw an explosion amid the chaos of that storm.
And here's a live look over Albert Lee. The time is now 6:50 this morning. If you're watching from here, good morning to you. KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday is tracking diminishing winds today, thankfully, but a cool down in the temperature. He'll be in next. Take a look at this. High winds damaged this farm southwest of Webster City in Iowa. You can see the crushed barn, downed tree, even debris wrapping around the trees. One Des Moines man says he witnessed something he has never seen before.
I was on my front porch and cleaning up some water that was coming in, and I looked across the street and there was a big glowing orb. I thought it was aliens at first. And then it exploded and sparks went everywhere, and about 10-15 minutes later, I could see that a tree had fallen.
Yeah, none of us have ever seen anything like this before. A tornado was confirmed in Jefferson, Iowa last night, which is just northwest of Des Moines. No injuries have been reported there, thankfully.
Yeah, specifically in the month of December. Unheard of.
Yeah.
So bizarre. Okay, let's get you a quick update on the forecast if you're just joining us. Sean, what's happening right now? What should we be aware of?
Right now, it's still pretty windy out there, guys. Thankfully, it's not as windy as it was during those storms and during the overnight hours when I'm sure a lot of people could hear the roar of the winds outside. We saw wind gusting in Rochester above hurricane force, 77 miles per hour in Rochester. That was hours after the storm. It was around 11 p.m. So just a testament to some of those winds. Still pretty windy, though, this morning. So be aware of that on your way with those roads. Things are not going to get really better with the winds until later this evening. Now, coming up, I'm going to take another look at kind of a wider view of what we've been seeing across the rest of the area and what we saw last night, and also what we're expecting for the week ahead.